Hi, everybody. Welcome to Studying Ethics in Psychological Research. So far, we've looked at all these different great methods of psychological research: naturalistic observation, case studies, experiments, surveys, correlational studies, all of this really good stuff to help us understand human behavior. But over the course of these research methods, how do we ensure that people, and in some cases animals, are treated with the utmost respect and humane treatment? Well, the APA set forth a code of ethics that will allow us to understand how we should be treating people before, during, and after experiments and other research. So we use a lot of animals in research. Why do we use animals in research? Well, there's a lot of different reasons. Many psychologists study animals because they find them fascinating. They want to understand how different species learn, think, and behave. Psychologists also study animals to learn about people. We humans are not just like animals, we are animals. We share a common biology. Animal experiments have therefore led to treatments for human diseases: insulin for diabetes, vaccines to prevent polio and rabies, transplants to replace defective organs. Humans are extremely complex, but the same processes by which we learn are present in rats, monkeys, and even sea slugs. The simplicity of a sea slug's nervous system is precisely what makes it so revealing of the neural mechanisms of learning. Sharing such similarities, should we not respect our animal relatives? Now, some animal protection organizations want to replace experiments on animals with naturalistic observation, looking at these animals in their natural habitat. Many animal researchers respond that this is not a question of good versus evil, but a compassion for animals versus a compassion for people. How many of us would have attacked Louis Pasteur's experiments with rabies, which caused some dogs to suffer, but led to a vaccine that spared millions of people and dogs from agonizing death? And when we really wish to have deprived ourselves of the animal research that led to effective methods of training children with mental illnesses or disorders, or understanding aging, of relieving fears and depression. Now, you certainly should have your opinion about where you think the use of animal guidelines and should we use them or not, and what should take place. Out of this heated debate, two issues emerge. The basic one is whether it is right to place the well-being of humans above that of animals. In experiments on stress and cancer, is it right that mice get tumors in the hope that people might not? Should some monkeys be exposed to an HIV-like virus in the search for AIDS vaccine? Is our use and consumption of other animals as natural as the behavior of carnivorous hawks, cats, and whales? So we're trying to defend, some folks try and defend the research on animals. They argue that anyone who's eaten a hamburger, worn leather, shoes, tolerated hunting and fishing, or supported the extermination of crop-destroying or plague-carrying pests has already agreed that, yes, it is sometimes permissible to sacrifice animals for the sake of well-being. If we give human life first priority, what safeguards should protect the well-being of animals in research? One survey of animal researchers gave an answer. 98% supported government regulations protecting primates, dogs, and cats, and 74% supported regulations providing for the humane care of rats and mice. Many professional associations and funding agencies already have such guidelines. American Psychological Association guidelines state that researchers must ensure the comfort, health, and humane treatment of animals and minimize infection, illness, and pain. The European Parliament, by the way, now mandates standards for animal care and housing. So they do try and put in some place for safeguards. Again, this is an ethical issue that you can find yourself on one or the other side on. And if you decide to go into research, perhaps this is something that evolves, an opinion for you that evolves. But that sure is a really cute picture of those two gorillas. So let's talk about humans in research. So in the use of humans beings in research studies, there's pretty much four main ideas that sort of govern the ethical treatment. So the first one is informed consent, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday. An ethical principle of informed consent that research participants should be told enough to enable them to choose whether they wish to participate. So this is like you get consent prior to starting the research study. And if it's a child under 18, you have to get the parents' informed consent. Now, the second piece that guides us in psychological research is to protect the person from harm and discomfort. This is vague, and it's vague on purpose. The idea here is that because there is informed consent, that the person can know what's going on. So you're not going to hurt someone physically. You're not going to make them uncomfortable physically or even truly emotionally. That's really where they want to draw the line. And using informed consent, that person can determine where their line is. Third, it is paramount to maintain confidentiality. It is extraordinarily important in psychology in general, no matter what area of the discipline you're working in, whether you're counseling or doing research or teaching or whatever, that confidentiality be maintained pretty much at all cost, other than if someone is going to be harmful to themselves or others. Beyond that, confidentiality is paramount. And then lastly, you must do what we call debrief people in the experiment. You need to explain the research afterwards. And this is a key piece because it comes post-experiment. It's an explanation of the study, including its purpose and any deceptions that the participants went through. Really important that you go through with the participants and say, yes, we lied to you here. No, we didn't lie to you there. Yes, we gave you this, but we said we gave you that. It's really important to debrief with everybody who had participated so they have the full awareness of everything that went on. So that is ethics in psychological research. Now what you're going to do is you're going to read a scenario that is asking for permission to run a research study. And you have to decide whether or not you will give that research study group the permission to engage in that research study based on ethical guidelines. Until next time.